The latest expansion, Janthir Wilds, is flying right around the corner. It's always great to feel ahead of the curve when it comes to new content, so let's get you there. First, let's talk about Land Spear. While you can't exactly prep for the unlock, you can certainly have your characters ready to use them once you do unlock them. Now is the perfect time to go get yourself some exotic or ascended spears, because if you're like me, you probably have random sub-level 80 spears on your characters because you hardly ever touch them. Just remember that you will need a spear for land and a spear for underwater if you want to use it in both modes. You can't have one spear that does both at the same time. For skins, I personally picked out a spear skin for each of my classes that I'm going to be working towards. Most of them are pretty easy to buy or obtain, with a few outliers in that. They are the Corrupted Spear for my Warrior, Aliraska for Guardian, the Bearded Lancea for Ranger, Dragon Fury for Thief, Impaler of the Sunless for Necromancer, Packed Spear for Engineer, Destroyer's Pike for Elementalist, Vigil's Honor Harpoon for Revenant, and Pinnacle Impaler for Mesmer. As far as acquiring a physical, usable spear with good stats, you can look to use your Ascended Weapon chest if you haven't used it yet this season, or save up 600 Astral Acclaim for the launch of Janthir Wilds, as we'll likely see that back in the Wizard Vault Season Refresh on August 20th. Otherwise, World vs. World has the Unified Vendor System robot in each starting area of World vs. World, which will let you buy stat-selectable spears for 90 silver and 60 badges, which is a very affordable cost, letting you gear up both slots really effectively. Speaking of World vs. World, that brings me to my second point, which can give you a big jump start on some new skins and other rewards at the beginning of Janthir Wilds. You know how when you play World vs. World or structured PvP, there's those little potions of reward track progress that you get? Well, they don't expire, so hang on to all of yours leading up to the expansion, and you'll be able to pop them bad boys for rewards like I pop mini Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, with zero self-control. Each reward potion is 250 reward points to your active reward track, meaning 80 potions instantly completes an entire reward track from 0 to 20,000, usually earning you new emotes, champion weapon skins, and more that is typically available from meta achievements. Just be sure to look at all the new ones that drop and actually activate it before you start chugging. Also, structured PvP and World vs. World had the same reward tracks, but they don't complete at the same time. So to maximize your rewards, you're going to want to make sure you keep track of what you've already unlocked and you don't unlock both in different modes. Now, I have a few more tried and true expansion prep tips for you, but first, this is a great time to remind you, like I always try to, that while all of this is great stuff to do, you should only do it if it's fun for you. Remember, we're all here for our own version of fun. Don't go grind out 40 hours of World vs. World over the next month if it drives you insane. Now, I want to clue you into a theory I have that's got me doing some prep that is a little outside my usual gameplay. You see, with the introduction of our first hybrid land and water weapon, the recent Master Diver bonus event for swim speed infusions, and the fact that we're going to the Isles of Janthir, I think we're going to see a bit more underwater combat in this expansion than we have been lately. So, I've finally been using the keys I've been accumulating in order to get swim speed infusions so I can move around faster underwater in the future. In addition to that, I've also been starting to farm daily winter berries in Bitterfrost Frontier to get the easy ascended water breathers from my Quaggan, Blessed by Malagan, Slooshu, since the infusions only slot into ascended water breathers. Now look, I have no actual evidence from anything released up to the time of recording this, but I look at it this way. There's some evidence pointing to it being possible. And also, if that doesn't happen, then I can either sell off my swim speed infusions if I really don't want them for a quick cash bump, or keep them and just be faster underwater for a tiny quality of life boost anyway. I'm not really missing out on anything by doing this, except a little bit of my free time. So, figured I'd throw it out there as a recommendation because I am doing it. Another thing I'm doing in my prep is part concrete, part fluid, and that is preparing for the legendary spear. It's no secret that I dropped the ball on my legendary armor prep, having still made a whopping 0.0 pieces of obsidian armor at this point. So I decided I didn't want to be caught with my oddly shaped char pants down again, so I'm saving up for the new legendary spear now. The obvious problem is that we don't know what exactly we're going to need for it. Some of it will obviously only be available in the new expansion areas, as is tradition, but there are some things we can extrapolate from the obsidian armor that we're going to need. We are all but guaranteed that we're going to need mystic clovers, obviously, so I've been hanging on to mine for now so I can make sure I've got all of them I could need right out of the gate. Another thing we will likely need is a trophy gift, such as Gift of Condensed Might or Magic, maybe even both. So, despite the fact that I could probably currently cash in and make a piece of obsidian armor, or maybe one of the other legendaries I have prepped in my bank, I'm hanging on since I'm pretty low on trophies. I'd also say there's a decent chance that we're going to need a Gift of Research, as not only did all of the End of Dragons legendaries require it, but so did the obsidian armor and the new legendary relic. You can check research note cost per note via crafting or on the trading post on the Fast Farm community website, which is a great place to start. Otherwise, if you have any crafting disciplines not leveled up, this is another great time to level them up and salvage the outputs as you level. For trophies, don't forget that your laurels can be converted into trophies as well. I have well over 700 right now, and I'm probably going to sacrifice them to the trophy overlords here soon. Now, much like real life, this next tip is a universal truth. Money is going to grease up your experience in the new expansion. Money in Guild Wars 2 isn't just limited to gold, however, so start thinking about your purchases with things like karma a little bit more sparingly, depending on how much you have. Oftentimes we have a chance to buy new mini pets, skins, or other fun little doodads for karma. You might think you have a lot, but then a lot of mini pets are like 105,000 karma for one, so even 1,000,000 karma can go very quickly sometimes if you're trying to buy everything up. Cryptus Rift farming can be some pretty great karma in addition to working towards legendary armor. Another decent spot for karma can be Dragonfall, which is also a pretty good way to earn volatile magic actively, and volatile magic can be used to make money or even trophy shipments to hold on to. As far as making money, there's many active ways you can make money out there, like Reba farming, Dragonfall, farming swim speed infusions if you don't want them and have a bunch of keys stacked up, and many, many more. I've personally broken down my daily routine that I use to make a ton of money with only a few hours a week that I prefer, because I generally hate grinding just for money with how little free time I have. Money talks, and money also brings me to my final point, which is preparing your homestead for Janthir Wilds. While they may not be out yet, we already know that your homestead is going to have all the home instance nodes that your current personal home instance does, except with cooler cosmetic features, as well as conveniences such as one-click gather all buttons with a settable glyph to use. Pretty freaking awesome stuff coming. Any alts that you log out here will also be hanging out at home, minding their business. So maybe if you have some characters you barely play, spend some time decking them out in some cool outfits to hang around in your house in to show them off when your friends come over. Though, if you're like me, you prefer to have them logged out somewhere that makes you money with a few seconds a day, since they don't get used for anything else. So for people like me who utilize their alts for daily logins but still want to show off their looks, we're going to get armor stands that are going to allow us to show off our favorite equipment looks statically as well. Pretty exciting stuff, and it has really motivated me a bit to start thinking about the true Fashion Wars endgame. Now there's a ton of home instance nodes you can get, though it's always good to know if you're looking to be realistic and not just a completionist getting everything, that there is a ton that take 2, 3, or even 5+ years to pay for themselves. So for a great in-depth breakdown, you'll want to click on this video here, where I'll show you every node that's going to pay for itself during Janthir Wilds if you buy them before August 20th.